Hello, my name is Bea
Hello.
and I'm a hydration and nutrition specialist. And today I have a very special guest with me, Laura, who I'm going to introduce you to in a minute. We are going to talk about a holistic approach to health and well-being. We both believe that there are five pillars to health and well-being, and that these five pillars are hydration, nutrition, exercise, sleep, and stress management. And today we'll talk about the first two, which is your hydration and nutrition. So I'm super excited to have Laura with me today. She's a good friend, she's a personal trainer, she's a yoga instructor, lady of many credentials. She is the same as me, hydration specialist, and since recently, super exciting, also a certified EFT practitioner. So welcome, Laura.
Thanks so much, Bea. I'm so happy to be here. This is awesome.
Thank
So
you.
just a little history about me. I actually used to work the corporate gig. So as of, I guess it's coming up to 6 years ago, I used to be in finance, and I always say, don't hold that against me. People always go, finance people. So I used to do finance for 16 years. And then I left my corporate gig to move into the wellness industry. And I've been doing that for the last 6 years. So got my personal training certification. And then I noticed how tight people were. So I was, encouraging them to do yoga, but they were like, well, I can't find a schedule that works for me. So then I was like, okay, why don't I teach yoga? So I got my 200-hour certification. And then about 3 years ago, I got introduced to this water technology, which I just knew right away. I was like, this is what I've been looking for. This is amazing. Our family experienced all the benefits. And then, as Bea said, just most recently, so working with people, I always find there's a mindset piece. People come to lose weight or, tone up. But there's always a mindset piece. So I started studying EFT last summer, and then I was like, okay, I need to become certified in this because EFT is also known as tapping. So you might have seen that before or tried it where you're tapping on different parts of your face or body. And I was just like, okay, this stuff works, because as soon as I started I felt my whole body relax. So it's been quite a ride for the last almost year doing that. And it's just a nice package of wellness all together and just being able to hit all the important elements. So yeah, it's super exciting.
Absolutely. And gosh, I mean, what a journey you've had. And to go from finance into something like this. And I think it's something else that we have in common, actually. It seems that we both are forever learning and evolving. And yeah, you've done a lot in the last 6 years. Awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll dive into like different aspects of this, but to start with, I think we will start with the nutrition part. And something else that we both got in common is that we are big Juice Plus lovers.
Yes,
Would
we are.
you share your Juice Plus story with us, please?
Yeah, for sure. So gosh, this might be 5 years ago, probably
Yeah.
when I first stopped working. Anyway, my daughter struggled with terrible eczema, like covered, like her limbs were covered, like her whole body. Like she was always scratching it. And it was, anyway, the doctors were always, oh, more cortisone. I'm like, okay, this isn't working. And it's just cortisone isn't good to be smothering all over. I think she was about 7 at the time. And so a good friend of mine who is kind of along the functional medicine path, she suggested Juice Plus. And I will admit, I was skeptical. I'm like, really, what is this going to do? Like, come on. But I was like, okay, I trusted her. I was like, I'll try it. And within 2 weeks, and she was 7 at the time, so she was just having the children's gummies, which are amazing. Her skin started to clear up. Like I specifically remember going to Florida about 2 weeks after we started it. My parents were like, wow, why is her skin looking so much better? And I was like, we've been trying this stuff called Juice Plus. I'm like, hey, if it's working, I'm always like, if something's working, go with it. And then I experienced great benefits with the capsules as well. Like you notice your hair grows fast, your nails grow fast. And I'm like, those are things that aren't in your head. Like that's visible evidence that something different is going on. So yeah, we had a great experience with Juice Plus, and yeah, I love to share with people. It's just such a like a functional or basic piece of your nutrition, because we're not getting what we need to get with what we're eating. So yeah, I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, like every meal is fruits and vegetables mainly, and you're still not getting enough, and we're not getting the nutrients. So I'm in Canada, and I don't know who most of your people are. They might tell by my accent where I'm from, but so like a lot of our stuff, and I'm sure it's the same where anybody lives, it's traveled a long ways. So like even if we're eating mostly fruits and vegetables, the nutrients are gone, right? They're the strongest when they're right off the tree or the ground. You pull them out of the right. So by the time they get here, the nutrient value is pretty slim. So even though we're in, not to say don't eat fruits and vegetables, they're amazing for you, but to get that full nutrient base that our bodies desire and need, the Juice Plus just bridges the gap. And it just makes so much sense to me from a foundational base, like your foundational supplement. And it's not really even a supplement, it's just foundational nutrition. It's just so important, I feel.
Yes, absolutely. I think they actually call it a nutritional product, if I'm not mistaken, because it's not your typical food supplement, because a lot of food supplements are synthetic, they're made of artificial substances in a lab, whereas Juice Plus, respectively, is basically most of the farms, I think, are organic produce, so they'll just pick the produce when it's fully ripe, because that's when it contains the maximum amount of nutrients. Then they will freeze dry it to lock it all in so it doesn't dissipate, and they basically make it into this powder. So it's called Juice Plus, but there's no juice about it. It's the powder. People often tell me, "Oh, I don't do juicing."
Yes, I get the same
capsule. And also, what's interesting is that they will, with a lot of vegetables, fruits, and berries, they will also use the core. So, for example, like your apple, it actually contains a lot of nutrients inside in the core. Is there a special name for that? Probably is. I can't think of what it's called.
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not something that we would normally eat. So you get all of that, and versus we trying to eat as many vegetables and fruits that, like you just said, have traveled half across the world. They have probably been picked off the tree when they're still green, weeks ago. And then let's not even get started on the herbicides.
Yeah, I was going to say the pesticides.
Yeah, and also that we just don't eat enough. And here we've got over 30, which I don't think we possibly eat in a week. And also varied, I think, is the key, because I think many of us are guilty of just putting the same things in your, it's your potato, your carrot, your broccoli. Yeah, so it's a fantastic way to bridge that gap, definitely. And my followers already know, but I'll quickly tell Laura's guys that wouldn't have met me before, is that my main interest with Juice Plus comes from weight loss. And there are 3 different approaches that you can take. You can attack weight loss from all 3 angles, or one that's most suitable to you. So number 1 is that they have these meal replacements. They have shakes, snack bars, and soups. So for somebody that is looking for the perfectly balanced, healthy meal, and they don't have to work out the calories and think, of the amount eating. This is super popular with new mums, because new mums are busy and they just need something quickly on the go. Then we also have the fabulous boosters, which is mainly for portion control. So it's like a drink that you have before you eat, and it will reduce your overall calorie intake. So those who struggle with those meal replacement, that's a fantastic option. Or thirdly, just to improve your overall health, part of which is improving your digestion, addressing any hormonal imbalances, the capsules will help to even those out, because I'm sure you'll agree, Laura, sometimes it could be your thyroid that's affecting your metabolism. It could be premenopausal, menopausal. So there's, it's quite complex, isn't it? So that's where my kind of expertise is. So it's fantastic for health, and it's fantastic for weight loss. When you're looking to lose weight, you can lose weight in a healthy way. Oh, yes. And by the way, I'll just quickly mention, which is also worth mentioning, because your daughter had the gummies presumably the same as here in the UK, you would have had the healthy starts for families. So she would have had the gummies for free.
For free. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that's amazing in itself. A whole family can get healthy at the same time.
Yeah.
Awesome. So nutrition, super important. Now on to hydration, which is actually the most important thing. Probably should have started with that, because your body is basically water, but I'll let you tell us about that, Laura, your body being water, and how you ended up with the same water technology that I have in my home as well.
Yeah. So water has always been a big deal for me. I remember even in high school walking around, like I was always drinking water. When I worked my corporate job, I was always drinking water. And I was kind of on a search for what is good water, right? You always read like health. I was always into health, like drink good water. I'm always like, what is good water? And so some people would direct me to reverse osmosis. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not working for me. It's pulling out all the minerals. So you're lacking the minerals. It's very clean, but it's lacking minerals, and our bodies need minerals. It's super key. So then about 3 years ago, I was introduced to this water technology, and I knew in my gut, I say literally and figuratively, that this was the water. So it just made total sense to me. Like I say, I just knew I was like, this is the water I've been looking for. And then when I tried it, without giving too much information, my gut told me the first day that stuff was going on. I'm like, okay, again, this isn't just, oh, I feel better. I feel like I have more energy. Like it was, something was going on. And this was the first day I tried it. So it wasn't even fresh from my machine. And I'm a pretty healthy person. So it's not like I was eating a ton of garbage, and I was already drinking 4 liters of filtered tap water. So it wasn't like all of a sudden I went from drinking 500 milliliters to drinking 4 liters. So I was drinking the same amount of water, but I was just drinking this water. And like I said, something was going on in my gut. So I was like, okay, this is doing something. This isn't hogwash. This isn't BS. There is something true about this water. And as I learned more and more, I was just like, I need to have this machine for myself, for my family. I am so happy. One of the first things, I know weight loss is kind of one thing both you and I work on. That was one of the first things I noticed. I still remember sitting there waiting for my kids at camp, and like the weight above the waist on the belly. And after drink, I was like, wow, that I haven't done anything different but drink that water. And I noticed I had lost weight in there. There wasn't like the extra kind of roll or what was there. So I was like, okay. And then, I mean, as you learn about it, it makes so much sense, because it's actually cleaning our bodies out. Most of the water we drink, the filtered tap water I was drinking, is sitting outside the cell, and then we're just peeing it out. So it's not able to penetrate through the cell, grab the toxins and pull it out. So that was I mean, that explains, again, I could feel the weight I had lost around my stomach, just even the first few weeks drinking it. There were a lot of other things we experienced that showed that we were clearly dehydrated before, even though I was drinking 4 liters of filtered tap water. Makes me so happy with the girls, especially as they're going through hormone changes. They're coming, into their teenager years. Like they are flushing stuff out. So if we know what that means. So to me, that's so, because their hormones are going, if they can flush out the excess hormones, like it's so important. And I can't even imagine not having this machine, to be honest. Like, so I don't even think about that money I spent 3 years ago. Like, it is that important. And like you said, our body's composed of mostly water. It's 60 to 75% water. So if we can get the best water in, you can only imagine what you're going to get out of your body. And another piece for me is, physical pain. Most physical pain is inflammation. Again, it's stuck in there. It's not moving. If we can get the water to take all the antioxidants in the water, if we can get that to pull that inflammation out and start clearing it, it's absolutely amazing. Like, again, I can't even imagine not having it, not having the technology in the machine. It's amazing. I mean, never mind all the other waters it produces, as we talked about, pesticides and all that stuff, the beauty water using as a toner. the 2.5, honestly, I use it like every day, like a little cut. I'm like, okay, spray 2.5. I have a gym in my basement, so I clean it all with the 2.5. Like, it's just, it doesn't cost me anything, right? I clean my house. It doesn't cost me anything. I don't have any cleaners or anything. It's chemical free, cleaning my house, doing everything. There's a protocol for almost everything, with all the different waters. And so I just love sharing it with people. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing. And I know, so you have the machine. What has
Yes.
your experience been?
Yes, I'll share my experience. I'll just add some comments to what you said. So first of all, I mean, this is an investment in your health, but investing in yourself and in your health is the best investment you'll ever make, because well and truly, without your health, you don't have anything, right? You're not going to enjoy your life, no matter what aspect of your life, if you don't have your health. And if you look after this machine, then it will last you and your family and your friends, how it depends how far you want to spread the love for the rest of your life. And you can't really put a price on that. You get the unlimited healthy supply of the healthiest water, and it has got over 100 different uses. So as you mentioned, you can clean your house with it, because the same as bleach, it will kill bacteria, but it's not harmful to the body. You're not breathing in those nasty toxins in your lungs. So it's kind of, it's part of green living, conscious living, beauty water. So you can replace a lot of cosmetics, a lot of cleaning products. I mean, it's got over 100 uses. So honestly, long term, it's saving you a lot of money. And let's not forget, we're saving the planet at the same time. Looking after the only house that we have, that we really have to live in, which is our bodies, and saving the planet at the same time. So it's an investment that you would never regret. And my story is that, I don't know, were you sitting on the fence for a while, or were you kind of right in?
I might have been one of the easy, like I said, I just saw the presentation. I was like, this makes absolute sense. I knew in my gut, I was just like, I might have been one of the easier sales, because I was just like, I got it. Like, I was like 100%. And I've always been a pesticide. Like, I've always had sprays and stuff for pesticides, especially with the kids. And I was just like, I saw what they pulled off of the measurable, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need this machine. Like I said, I tried it and felt stuff right away. So I was like, this isn't made up stuff. Like, stuff is going on. I totally 100%. I was pretty quick.
So I was the opposite, but I'll just mention about the pesticides. For those who don't know, you can't. I know a lot of people will wash their produce under the tap in the sink, but you can't wash them off with pure water, with tap water, because it doesn't dissolve. They're oil-based. And the reason is because if your farmers would have pesticides that would just wash off every time it rains, it wouldn't do any good, right? Whereas with this water technology, we can produce strong alkaline water with 11.5 pH 11.5 that will dissolve the oil, so you can wash them off. And it's something that's super important. So I was the opposite, Laura. I was a very hard sell. I guess it comes down to your personality type. I'm the kind of person that I research everything. And now in hindsight, and hindsight is a wonderful thing, I think I just needed to know, is this going to make me feel better? I didn't need to go and read hundreds of research papers, but I was just kind of going down this rabbit hole. And then there was just a light bulb moment after I read something, and I thought, oh my God, this is it. This is it. This is the most important thing. None of the other things matter. And I've done a video on this, and I called it, I think, hydration is the secret, because all of our focus goes into, what we're eating, how we're moving our body. But when you break down the molecular structure of the body, some of the cells are up to 95% water. So what is going to make the biggest difference to you, right? The 95% or the other 5%? So for me, is that as soon as the machine I got the machine, I went straight on the 9.5. My husband
Mhm.
started lower, and I was like, no, I think I'm reasonably healthy. I'm just going to go right in. And then I had a whole day of drinking it. And then I just woke up in the morning and I was just wide awake, and I experienced so much energy that I just can't remember ever feeling like this in my, entire adult life. I just felt that I could just put my shoes on and go out for a run versus, don't speak to me until I have 3 coffees first. So, the change in energy was phenomenal. I started losing weight quite a lot,
Mhm.
although I wasn't changing anything, the same as you, because everything's just detoxing, flushing out all the toxins. And mental clarity, I think. I just feel like my brain is like a sponge. I'm just learning and absorbing information at such a fast rate. But then again, it's hardly a surprise. Your brain is over 70% water. So yeah, we could go on and on about this. We wanted to keep
Right.
it reasonably short. And I think what we'll do, in this video, we'll also mention the third pillar, which is exercise.
Mhm.
So would you touch on, why exercise is important, not just for health, weight loss, for stress management?
Yeah. So exercise, I've been lucky in that it's always been a big piece of my life. I probably went through somewhere in the teenage years, went to university and fell off, but that's the first thing I went back to was exercise. Um, so I always found, so when I work corporate, I used to work out first thing in the morning, and people would be like, how do you get up that early? Like, how do you get up at 5? You're here by 6. Like, how do you do that? And I was always, my response was, how do you not? Like, how do you get through this day without the energy that exercise provides? Like, and there would be days I would drive there, maybe not great sleep. And then especially when my kids were young, whatever, right? Like didn't sleep well, but I was like, I'll just go and work out. And you don't have to go and do some crazy high intensity workout. It's actually not necessarily great for your body to be doing that anyway. Especially if you're already highly stressed, you're just adding to that cortisol. So you actually will be not benefiting from the exercise. But any type of movement, right? Walking, yoga, just even doing some weight training. Like we all think we have to get on, this high intensity cardio and have our heart rate through the roof. And trust me, I like that stuff. So sometimes I have to tell myself to dial it back, but I know most people don't move because they think it has to be this high intensity, crazy workout. But I mean, from a health perspective, it can add 6 to 7 years to your life. So when people say they don't have time, they're too tired, any of that stuff, it's like, well, what's more important? Because usually it's the job that's taking over, right? What's more important, adding 6 to 7 years to your life or your job right now, which I'll be honest, you're probably just a number, even though everyone thinks they're not replaceable, right? It's like, just put it into perspective here. So adding some movement into our lives. And again, it doesn't have to be crazy. Start with a 10-minute walk, right? Notice how you feel, and it creates so much more energy. You will actually be more productive when you're moving and exercising. Again, it doesn't have to be crazy, high intense exercise. Find something you enjoy. And it'll be sustainable. So if we're doing something that we really hate, we might be able to do it for 2, maybe 3 weeks, and then we'll stop. So if you find you go in cycles, it's because we have this panic, this stress. Oh my gosh, I have to move, right? And then we fall off. So it needs to be definitely something you enjoy. And again, it doesn't have to be an hour. Start, like, any type of movement is good. I love a half an hour, but even if that feels like too much, start with 20 minutes. Like 20 minutes of movement is fantastic. And just notice how you feel, especially if you're already highly stressed. Movement sometimes makes you more tired. So try 20 minutes of some movement and just notice how you feel, right? It's all about finding that great time and balance. And what happens to, even sometimes, I think you and I have talked about this, you tell yourself, I've gone down and been like, oh, just 10 minutes. You start to move and you're like, okay, I feel so much better. I can do more, right? It's sometimes you play little mind games, right? That just tell yourself you're just going to do a little bit. And then you're like, oh, this actually feels good. And again, do what you can do. It doesn't have to be some crazy sweat session. So you need to find something you enjoy. And then, yeah, the mental clarity, the more productivity from movement is incredible. So yeah, that's I love movement, but I understand people might have negative associations, whether they were not athletic as kids, or all they know movement just as punishment, right? Because they ate too much. So it's like, I have to move, right? So it's all about how we associate, and we have to move the negative association to positive association with exercise, and that'll make all the difference. And you feel so much better. You have more confidence, you feel better in your body. And it's not necessarily like, yeah, you can lose weight, but it's just when you feel stronger, you feel so much better. That's going to affect your relationships. It's going to affect your job. It's going to affect your relationship with your kid, like everything. So I just feel like movement is such a key pillar. And again, it adds 6 to 7 years to your life. So what's more important right now?
Absolutely.
I'll take the 6 to 7 years.
Definitely 6 years. Wow, that's amazing. There are so many golden nuggets in there. So 6, 7 years to your life. Oh my God. I'm thinking of 6, 7 years of like high quality retirement age, preferably
exactly.
cruising around the world, enjoying life. Absolutely. And I loved what you said about picking something that you enjoy, because I think sometimes when people, especially when they focus on weight loss, they think, and I have done this, go for the HIIT workouts or go for lifting heavy weights, and then you can't sustain it because you hate it and you're doing it for the wrong reasons, or when you just go all in. And then I've had it before when I can't walk for 3 days after, and I think, gosh, just could have just gone for a walk, like ease yourself in. And I loved what you said about doing I call it do the bare minimum. If I'm really busy, I say to myself, I'm just going to do 15 minutes because it's really important for my health. And most of the time, you'll be like, oh, this feels really good. I feel much better. And you'll keep going. So, yeah, it's little mind games, but in like positive manipulation. And what else I was going to mention? Something else that struck me whilst we were talking is that I think what also would be helpful to people is understanding why they should exercise, because we kind of just told, oh, just exercise, it's good for you. But understanding, for example, for weight loss, that you will increase your muscle mass, which means that you will be burning more calories, increasing your basal metabolic rate. So even when you rest, you'll be burning more calories, your metabolism will be faster. The things that it does for your mood, releases all the feel good hormones. You get sunshine if it's warm, and you get your vitamin D. There's so many different health benefits. So I think if people could concentrate on, it doesn't have to be for the weight loss, and it's more like just move, like you said. It can be a gentle walk, it can be yoga. It doesn't have to be this, let's just sweat buckets and go for 2 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
And I will add too, just because physical pain, I know as we all start to get older, and people are like, well, my body hurts, so that, or they have old injuries, so that holds them back. But actually movement is going to help that. It's going to keep you more limber and more flexible, especially including stretching and yoga with the movement, because those are key elements as well. I just feel it's key, because if you just keep sitting there, you're just going to get more sore and more stiff, and ultimately then more miserable, right? So it's like, again, try something like walking. Start there. Don't, there's no guilt, like just start there. Just start getting everything moving again. And like that physical pain will subside. And then especially as you add the water, the juice plus, all that stuff, it's just such an amazing combination. So
yeah, so it's definitely about a holistic approach. I think we'll wrap it up there for the part 1. If you have any questions about exercise, hydration, or nutrition, please message either one of us and we'll be happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in part 2.